Hello and welcome back to the Bronuts.
As promised, this week we're going to do a walk around of the car and show some of the bits that might need a bit more attention.
And what we're also going to do this week is go through some of the costs involved so far. Hi everyone, welcome back. We're back on the car seats on the floor, and this time the car's also decided to join us on the floor for the video.
Yeah, if you remember from the last video, we managed to get the car off the frame finally. Involved a little bit of cutting, but we got there. So we figured now we've got the car on the floor, we may as well join it ourselves.
Yeah, so as you saw, the car was in the garage. We didn't have a lot of space to look at things. We've had a proper look at it now, and we've also downloaded the service manuals. So we've got those. We've started to make an inventory as well of what parts we have and what we need.
Yeah, I've also managed to source a few of the parts when I came up at quite a good price. But looking at the manuals, we're just trying to understand what parts and what things we need to do to try and minimise our costs. So we're going to see what we can do on the car ourselves. Some of the more manual, labour-intensive things that would cost a lot if we get a mechanic. But as soon as we get to the parts where we really don't know what we're doing, we will, of course, use the expert's help.
Yeah, so I think especially with the electrical side of things, we've started to have a look at where the wires are, what needs connecting. And that is very labour intensive, so we're going to be doing a lot of that ourselves.
Yeah, so other than all the wiring and so on, we'll just take you around the car, kind of show you the things that need fixing, some of the things that we've identified before, but also some of the new things that may pop out with it being off of that frame. So without further ado, we'll just take you around the car. So what we'll do for this walk around is that we'll start at the very front of the car and make our way to the back. So starting with the very front, if you remember, this bumper is brand new. What you might notice is that we're missing the front badge. That's because where the car was previously stored, some people broke in and stole various things off the car, like the badges. Now we do have both headlights, however, if you can see, this one's missing its plastic lens cover. Finally, we do have this windscreen, but it will need replacing because it's really cracked. Okay, so onto the side of the car now, and you can see we've got these lovely 430 wheels. We are missing the side badges as well, so that's something that was also stolen off the car when it was in storage. The wing mirrors were missing. We've managed to get a set of those though. There's glass on this door, but the other door doesn't actually have glass in at the moment. The paintwork, you won't be able to see from there. We'll do a close-up later on, but it's not in very good condition at all. So you can see there's bits down here which obviously haven't had paint, and the bits which have had paint will need repainting. And we don't have door handles at the moment, so we're using this pull to get the door open. And that's what we call an elegant entrance. Now in the cabin, we did have this tunnel cover, but we've taken it off to get access to these wires, which you can see are about everywhere. Now, in the car, we do have a brand new dashboard. We do have the instrument cluster and a steering wheel. However, we are missing things like the airbag. We also are missing this gear shift plate and gear knob. Those were some of the things stolen by those thieves. Starting from the top, you can see we've obviously got the new roof. There's no roof lining or anything just yet. We do have sun visors and seat belts. And coming down a bit, this is one of my favourite parts about the 360. Unlike the older cars, what you have is this hatch in the cabin that gives you access to the engine. And one of the great things about that is you can have access to all of the belts and pulleys, and you can perform services a bit easier. You won't be able to see down here, but that's the main crank down at the bottom, and that's what we intend to use to turn the engine by hand when we do that. Back up to the belts, obviously these are very old now, so we don't intend to keep any of those. They'll all need changing. We'll have to check the condition of the pulleys, the tensioners and so on, and all of these rubber hoses as well. We just need to check those and make sure that they're okay. There's a lot of aluminium pipework which should be okay, but again we just need to check it and make sure that it's going to hold up, because they haven't been used in so long. So continuing along the outside of the car, the rear quarter glass is also missing. We do have the new wheels as we said, and coming around to the side We do have all 4 taillights, which is quite good. However, some of them are a bit loose. For example, like this. We do have this nice Challenge Stradale grille, but more importantly, we have the masterpiece, the engine.
So in the engine bay, we did have the engine covers here. We took those off so that we can get to the wiring and check that the ECUs are there. We've obviously got the engine itself, the gearbox, everything seems to be intact, but obviously it hasn't been run in over 15 years. The spark plugs are currently out. The previous owner said that he'd been turning the engine by hand to make sure that it was still going freely. We've obviously never seen it run, but we've taken it in good faith that it will do. So hopefully when we get it going, there won't be too many problems.
So as you can see, this rear boot lid catch, just doesn't work. So that never shuts. Coming around the car, as we said, we have these 430 alloys. The rear quarter glass is missing. We'll need to get some of that. The window glass is missing, but we do have that. It's just not fitted. If you can see down here, some of the paint's missing. The overall quality of the paint on this car is a bit shocking. So the whole car will likely need a respray. The door handles are missing. We do have some of those. And again, the wing mirror is missing, but we have managed to source another set. Underneath the car, we were able to check some of the components. We had to check the suspension before we dropped the car and some of the other things under there. So we have had a look under there as well.
So as you can see, there is still a ton of work to do on the car, and that means that we're probably going to have to spend a lot of money to get it going again.
Yeah, that being said, there's been a lot of money spent on this car to get it into this state. The previous owner has spent money on various different things. For example, the new roof.
Yeah, so you saw the photos of the roof going in, and the previous owner imported that from Ferrari in Italy, and it cost around £11,000. Some of the other parts were also very expensive, such as the front bumper. That headlight there was about £2,000 and various other bits. So without further ado, we're going to answer the question on everybody's minds. What did we pay for the thing?
And when I first saw that advert, the car was up for £20,000. However, within about a day or a day and a half, it already gone up to £30,000, just because there was so much interest in it. We were quite lucky and were one of the first people to go and see it. So we went up with a mechanic and we had to try and gauge how much would the car be worth once it's fixed, how much would it cost to get to that point, and then we could budget how much to buy the car from. So we went up with the mechanic, took all of that into consideration and struck a deal with the previous owner and bought the car for £22,000.
Yeah, so as you'll be able to see, my wallet is now completely empty, thanks to HN. And well, it's going to get a lot emptier because we're going to have to spend around the same amount of money to get it going again. So we took our mechanic with us, and he's done a few older Ferrari restorations, such as the 355. So he had a pretty good idea in terms of what needs doing, the parts prices and so on. Obviously it's quite difficult to know without testing things like the engine and the gearbox, so we did have to take a bit of a gamble on it. However, that was really helpful.
Yep. Although it would be lovely if we could make a profit on this car, we hope to at least break even. But really, we have a passion for cars and we're doing this for the story. Buying this old neglected Ferrari, restoring it to its former glory, and it's something that we would just love to do.
Exactly, so we're going through all of this just so that we can share the story with you guys.
Yeah. As for the next few tasks that we have to do on the car, we have to go through some of the electronics and then also try and maybe turn the engine by hand.
Yeah, so we've got the workshop manual and we're going to be going through each of the wires one by one, making sure that they're all there and that the connectors are obviously in the right place.
Yep, we've got the multimeter ready, so we're going a bit overkill and just checking absolutely everything to ensure that it's perfect.
Yeah, we don't know what the previous owner has done in terms of the electrics, so we need to obviously check that, and it will be quite a big task for us to have to do.
Yeah, maybe we should get on and do some of that work.
Before we do though, don't forget that if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you've got any questions or anything, don't forget to comment.
Yeah, please do subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get a notification on our next upload. But more importantly,
We'll see you in the next one.